Got to change the hood pad. So here's the new one from Query. There is a forward and aft. You see right here there is 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see down here there's only 2. So that's how it's got to go. We're also going to replace the, what do you call that? Radiator support, air baffle. This is the other side of the remains of the hood pad. No, still in reasonable shape. And the thing that really the hood pad clips. Normally you break them because they're rusty. Didn't break a one of them. These doggone bezels, I just now see it. They have RH, there it is, see it? RH and LH in these things. The window power wire loom was all broken, so I installed a new one. That's a little tricky on this side because you've got all these wires that got to route through. And we temporarily put that back in. The wire loom for that side is a snap. And I was never happy with how this gasket fit. Realized they just had it out upside down. There are 20 hood pad clips. I gave them a quick wire brush, painted them with black. Now, you ever wondered how door locks work? Well, here's one that has not been taken apart, and here's one that has. It's like a little 5-cylinder engine. You take this cover off, and that exposes some spring-loaded pins of various lengths. And here's a bunch of them. You can see. And so depending on the lengths, that's what fits the key, and away you go. These locks are becoming harder to find anybody to work on these days because they're 60 years old. Something you don't see very often. Although this trunk weather strip is not in real good shape, it's the original. See the part number? I've never seen that before. Some jobs can take longer than expected. Installing the door lock. It is kind of tough to get access up in that corner. And I've still got one more to do. Boy, this is the lock that goes across it to retain it. Those are surprisingly difficult to install. And this little rod, which runs off of the key down to the lock. Ooh, see that little keeper thing? Sharp. Progress. Take it wherever you can. Well, we got the front door panels back on. Cut new windlace. And we cut new vapor barriers while we're waiting for the windlace. But I can replace that stuff. I can't put the rears on because we're waiting for that. There's that door done. there's the dash reinstalled, and I've hooked up the speedometer and all the wires to it, gave it a quick check, and the ammeter deflects in the right direction. So that looks like it's coming along. I tried to clean the headliner, and those spots said, no thanks, we're happy right where we are. And I did install the new bezel. So if I can, next will be to install the heater pieces, and then we can install the radio stuff, button up the dashboard. But have you ever wondered, when the transmission is full, and the dipstick says I'm full, how far up in here is the level? Well, I just happen to have another dipstick, so I'm going to put it right next to the other original dipstick, line them up, and then look for the full mark. You try doing this with one hand. And that's where your full mark, your level of fluid would be, right about the top of the boss here of your transmission stick. So right about in here. Yes. That's your trivia for today. So let's look at Windlace. Yeah, it's not supposed to stop there. It's supposed to go all the way up. So this old brittle stuff is going to have to come off. And I have new stuff from Query. As I recall, the fronts are a little easier to do, except for this section in here, which I'll have to remember the trick. But the back ones have this angle that you want to maintain and are clipped to cardboard. So either you have to make new cardboard or improvise. But we'll get back to the back ones. Right now, let's deal with the fronts. Piece of cardboard and then some kind of textile backing. That's what's holding this in. Maybe we can reuse some of that. I'm going to loosen the dashboard here too to see if that doesn't give me some kind of clearance. This is the passenger side inside A-pillar chrome. I haven't even polished it or cleaned it yet. Boy, that's a nice shape. So many of them have got rust pits. So that one and that one, those were the anchor mounts for the Windlace, which is long gone. There, see where it's still coming up through. These are the 3 screws for the visor. See, they're machine screw. Make sure you don't substitute one of these sheet metal type screws, because it'll bite, but it won't hold. This is what you need. These back up in there. The Windlace is clipped in here, and I was having a heck of a time getting it loose. So I removed the trim plate up here, and there's 4 or 5 screws that hold the dashboard in, and I loosened this, and now the dashboard moves enough so that I can get at these problem sections. So here we go with the passenger side, front installed. You really have to loosen the dashboard so that you can get the movement in here. You see, we nailed it. Yeah, you don't have to take these wrinkles out, but you could if you wanted to, but you know, they're under the chrome piece. But it's fit is real nice. But this section in here, you can't get any nails in. So I was thinking I would just RTV it and push it in, but it turns out it is held by this and the nails above and below, so no gluing necessary. Well, 14 degrees outside, so I'm inside. There's the windlass, and there's the radio grill and speaker, and the heater buttons and the dashboard, all reinstalled. Getting that clip for the Bowden cable on the heater was a particular tough one this time. Sometimes they aren't, but I ended up having to use these pliers in order to get the crimp. But this is a new heater switch. Look how nice it works. So today, we'll see what I can do for putting this on the driver's side. We finished up the tailpipes yesterday. Remember, they had been too long sticking out, so we just kind of estimated what they should be and got the grinding wheel out, the cutoff wheel. That'll do. Moving on. That's the inside header bar. Goes up on top, right by the rear view mirror. Look at how nicely. Oh, I haven't taken the wax off that, but A-pillars cleared up so well. The day-night mirror. Look how nice that is. Okay. Well, we're getting it back together. Let's see what we can do about replacing the rear windlace. You can see the tack, the cardboard backer. You can see how they make that 90 up there. Query can supply these with the cardboard backer, but I would really like to get this quarter panels tidied up and reinstalled today. This cardboard backer is 1/16 thick, 0.60. I've got some fiber here. I'm going to try to duplicate the cardboard and then transfer it to new windlace. So here's that cardboard backer removed from the original. It's held on with a bunch of staples, and all you have to do is pry the staples out without poking yourself in the finger. Well, here's the driver's side rear sort of done. That windlace came out adequately, but I'm out of tacks. So I'm thinking I can't do this side. And then I came across some of these yellow plastic push pins that are the right diameter to fit in these holes, which are for the tacks. So maybe we're back in business with these. And where'd they go? Where'd they go? There they are. There are these also, which you put a Phillips head down the throat and it expands. I think I'm going to give it a try. Now, I'm pleased those yellow push pins worked. And the windlace fit pretty good. Ready to button up the back end for a little bit. This car did not come with J wheel covers, so I took a set out of storage that I had. And boy, these were difficult to install. I got looking at it. So here's another cover. I got looking at the orientation of the clips. This wheel cover was really hard to install. And these clips had been bent out that way, and that's why it was so hard to install. Just a couple gentle clips back and it installed nicely, and it's not coming off. Well, I hope I remember next time I have difficulty installing this style wheel cover. Maybe bend these back just a little bit. This one, by the way, is an original. I put a new emblem in it. But the black's never been repainted, and you can see the edge is not perfect. And what the heck? Perfection, you never get things done.